Them bright lights on, it shows me how much more I got to clean.
Is that in the way? Rolling? Yeah. Okay, good.
Wait a minute, wait a minute.
Okay, so we're continuing. It's 11:29. Is it 11:28:08? And this is tape 2 of however many. So, okay. Let's see. Uh, question. Actually, Adrian brought up a good one. Let's see. We were talking about. Actually, I just want to finish up on kind of roles. So, it was expected kind of that when you grew up that you would come into a household that the woman would cook and clean and you would be the main breadwinner. You'd bring home, you would earn and. So,
The women always used to impress on me. Be a man. Be a man. Don't make a woman, do everything for you, whatever. So that was another thing that kind of screwed me up. The Dutch women and everything else telling me to be a man. And I thought being a man was taking a lot of crap off of a woman. I guess I don't know, but they would say things like that.
and when they say don't expect a woman to do everything, did they mean for you should clean some or you should cook some or what?
More likely, don't be so damn sloppy as a man. Pick up after yourself, like that. They didn't mind it. That was part of their culture.
If you were to try to cook something, would that have been an insult to them?
No, no. They'd have been happy. They say, hey, in case you get a wife who can't cook, you'll be able to take care of herself. And they were right. Your mother couldn't cook with a damn when I first married her. In fact, she couldn't find the tap to get water to boil, much less boil it. But she turned out to be one hell of a cook. And no, they were all for men doing all the things they wanted to do.
Well, tell me more about. As far as I know, the point was pretty much all white. Is that correct? Or
I had one black family living over there. It was really strange. They had blacks living around Shelby Street and Hancock, just west of us. And we'd be going to school, which was west of us, and they'd be going to school, which was east of them, and we'd see black kids back and forth going to school. And there wasn't much racial tension. One of the best friends we had over there was Bubble Knox, little black boy, and we used to sneak him in the park at night because he was black and nobody could see him. In those days, blacks weren't allowed into the public parks. They had their own. And he's the only black we let go on Towhead Island. We let him swim with us. We liked Bubble, and his mother was a great lady, and she'd feed us cornbread and things like that. So he ran with the gang, and but he was our Bubbles. He wasn't anybody else's. Like that.
so was back then, and we're talking the late 30s, early 40s, or
Early 40s, late 30s, early
like
40s.
your high school was it totally white, and then the
Yeah,
blacks all went to
all white and all boys.
Okay.
And junior high was co-ed, same as grade school.
Right. Well, in your family, did your pop or them, what were their views? Did they see? I mean, they weren't too far from when they were children. From I guess when slavery was maybe an actual real thing. I mean, Pop was born in the 1880s.
Yeah.
That
Oh
was
yeah.
30 years after.
The strange thing about it, Mark, and I found this to be true of most Southerners, they would hate the race as a whole, but love them to death as individuals. And there was an old black man that named Smoke, and he got too old to be at a slaughterhouse, but he hung around there. And I saw him. He was just around there, and I said, "Can I help you?" I couldn't have been more than 4 or 5 years, 6 or 7 years old, maybe. And he says, yeah. He says, I used to know a lady here named Catherine Becker. She's still alive? Says, yeah. I said, you want to see her? He said, yeah. And he was talking about Aunt Kate. He worked at that slaughterhouse years and years before. So Kate was the only one there, when I got, when I said, come on up. And Kate got all her crutches and reached up and hugged him. He hugged her. He said, oh, it's so good to see you. And Kate fed him at the table. And I took that. I'd never seen that happen before, but okay. And Pop came home and that, and they didn't, uh, they knew, I don't know if Pop didn't know Smoke, but Mom did. And she said, Smoke, it's good to see you again. And so that was that. It didn't bother them being in the house or anything like that. If they knew you, and you were black, you were welcome to anything. But if you got in a group of them, they were scared of you. That was about the way. It's that way in the South. I remember Medgar Evers, I believe, said he was going to move back to Mississippi. He knew where he stood there at all times from New York.
Oh. Well, I guess, and you rode streetcars a lot.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And we had to go everywhere in streetcars.
Right. And blacks were supposed to. Did they rode? I assume they rode them, but they had to ride in the back, or
Mm-mm.
what were the rules?
They can sit anywhere on those streetcars. So, yeah.
So they would sit in the front seats.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So was that more of something more south?
More south. Louisville, in fact, was on the side of the Union during the Civil War, and there are very few slaves in this city. There might have been few, but we were pro-Union, and this is when they call it the brother-brother war. We were the state they're talking about when they mention that, or father fought brother, and commentaries about the Civil War.
Within this, I guess Stucker clan or when it came to the Civil War, did you even in the 30s, did you still have people that within the family were either pro, Confederacy or pro Union?
Yeah, that was still around a little bit. It's totally vanished now. It was around even in the 50s when I was in the Army. And, I experienced a little bit of going there because I was a rebel. And I said, at least my ancestors were born here, not like you damn wops. I used to get them mad, all that, Of course, wops means without papers.
Oh, really? Huh. But that's generally is Italian.
Yeah, but it means to anybody here without paper, they're wop. And but they come over here in such droves they can even give them paper. And the reason Jews have so many named Cohen and Berman and Goodman and things like that, because of the immigration officers at Ellis Allen couldn't spell their names in English that they were having, so they said, oh, that's Cohen. So they just accepted those names instead of bleep, whatever.
Right. Okay. And I would imagine anyone. It was very controversial if there was a black man and a woman, or.
Yes, that was frowned on very, very much. It happened that you'd see this on occasion, but not on a scale like you see now. And they were blacks didn't like it, and whites didn't like it. If one of their race was fraternizing with the other, it didn't matter. And it's like children would call mongrels, double races. And this is still practiced in many of foreign countries. If you're Japanese and you marry a white person, or Chinese and you marry a white person, they don't like it. And all those Korean babies that was born to American soldiers, they fend for themselves if they didn't come home with their fathers. And they're just street kids now. Nobody wants them.
Let's see here. Pat and Alan specifically, uh, just tell me, just if you got some good stories of you and Alan growing up together, and tell me how old were you when Clarence came into Jen's life?
I was 8 years old, and so I said, "Hey, I gotta have a nice father." I was looking for a father figure, one I could call my own. And then I made this mistake when Pat was born. I said I wanted a brother. I said she's ugly. Clarence wouldn't speak to me for months. I said, "There go, blew my shot to be to have a daddy." But Pat and I became real fast friends when she was 8 or 9, something like that. And I was 18 and 19. I'd take her to town with me on a streetcar, and we'd go into Shackles' music store and listen to records. And she still talks about those days. Uh, we were just close as we could possibly be as a brother and sister. Of course, Alan was way down there. And it wasn't until I got out of the army that Alan became uh, close to me, and Pat got married. But I remember we would go to the show one time, and up the hilltop, and Pat had her eyes closed, and I was leading her. And this woman said, of course, blind people around, and said, "That's so nice. You're taking your little blind sister out for a walk." And Pat says, "I'm not blind. I keep my eyes closed so I can see where we're going to sit when we get in the dark theater." We just laughed our ass off at it. So, that was a crazy story about her. But Alan, Mom Watson and I went to. I was telling about Mom Watson and me going to Cincinnati to see Cinerama. That's when he had 3 projectors and a wide screen. That was a forerunner of Cinerama and IMAX. And so Alan said, I was there too. And I forgot that Alan had gone along with us. And I remember Mom had a deck of cards with her, and we played cards on the way home, and we went up on a train. And but Alan was always there and never noticed. It was strange. And he was the one that Pat got all of the attention from Jen and Clarence, and so Alan was left to fend for himself. And so Mom Watson took over. Mom Watson she took care of Juanita, which was Val's daughter. Took care of Eva Bell, which was Val's daughter. Grandma Hansel took care of Emil Boo Gray, which was Val's son. And Aunt Louise and Uncle William Emil took care of Henny Gray, Val's son. And that just left Lucille, who Lisa calls the dog woman, that grew up with her mother and father. All the kids were farmed out. Strange as hell. But he would always have cousins coming and going, and uncles and aunts coming and going. It was great.
They'd actually spend the night at the house? Or
yeah, and live there,
So, let me grab it. So they would sleep on the couches, or I don't think you guys had really had.
No, Eva Bell had her own. I mean, we had plenty of room in that house. It was an 11-room house. But yeah, they slept on the couches, and well, they never had them 2 at a time, but 1 at a time. Like Mom Watson had Eva Bell, and she got married, and Juanita moved in with them for a while. And then Juanita got married. I had the hospital for Juanita for a while. She was a pretty thing. And she died. She had heart trouble. And Lucille, I mean, she became an alcoholic, and then all of a sudden became a Christian. She would knit when she was alcoholic. She would crochet the most beautiful lace tablecloths and long doilies and that, and sell them for a price of a fifth of whiskey. and that was so damn sad. But anyway, she had Marcella out of wedlock, and it was a soldier. Lucille was a prostitute during the war, and she got pregnant by that soldier, and the family came down. The family was well-to-do. They wanted to adopt uh, Marcella and take her home, and give her a good life, and Lucille wouldn't give her up. And I love Marcella. She's just as great as hell. You want to see her, but I haven't seen her in years. I used to run into her down at the Kroger every now and then. But that was everybody raised everybody else's kids. It seemed like, and Mom Watson got the blunt of them. Uh, but Grandma Hansel, like I remember Boo, he stayed there, and Hanny Gray, and they raised all the Vallis kids, and but Grandma Hansel had 14 children. 5 of them died, and the rest of them I remember as uncles and aunts.
Wow, 14. So when was her? How old was she when she had her first, and how old was she when she had her
I
last?
don't know. I'd have to look that up or find out about it. But it seems like all they did was have sex in those days, and
Obviously unprotected sex.
they didn't know anything about that. They didn't know what it caused them, probably. But anyway,
Tangent, but was condom use, was that spoken about, or I don't even know when condoms came out. No, they were there in the 40s, obviously, but
yeah.
what was in the culture that you were raised in, was that ever talked about, or?
No, they always told me if you get a girl pregnant, you better marry her. Don't go to bed with a girl unless you feel like you want to marry her. And that was enough to make me pick and choose. But I was going to say something. Oh, Grandpa Hansel. He was a fireman, and at one time, where at the Allen House right across from St. Joe's Church, was a firehouse, and that's when they were horse-drawn, and he drove horses, and he would tell stories. He said when that fire bell rang, the horses would come out of their stables and get right in the position where they were supposed to be harnessed up. And he talked about having 5 fires in one day, and he said the 5th and 6th fire, we just let the horses walk through it. They were so damn tired. But then when they moved up on Pope Street and Frankfort Avenue, they got 4 trucks, and he drove the truck then. And he was one I said was in one of them that met him, was that your grandpa, great-great-grandpa. So anyway, I just had to throw that in.
Yeah. Adrian, anything that you come to mind?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Let's see. Is there anything is there anything that we haven't covered that you want to talk about, or?
Oh, we've covered a whole lot. I was thinking about different times in my life. I had a 3-wheel bicycle, a tricycle, I should say, and I was going to run away from home one time, and I was about 4 years old, and I took pedaling off, and I ran away from home. And Hugh Morgan caught me up at Story Avenue and paddled my ass all the way home. It was the only whipping I ever had in my life on the ass. I used to get slapped a lot across the face, but that was the only one I remember. And I remember that same time, I still had that bicycle. I got a picture someplace of me on that little bicycle, but I had a little red hen, a little brown hen chicken, and I carried that chicken. That was my pet. It followed me around, and I was singing Old Rugged Cross to it one day. I was crying my eyes out because I knew the chicken was going to die before I did. And I never have forgotten that day, that little chicken. Another thing that I really enjoyed was raising pigeons. And we raised them with other people. And we all chip in and buy a bushel of corn or wheat or whatever, and the winning pigeon would get the corn or whatever it was racing for.
Did you raise in the sense that you had breeding couples and you had eggs and you hatched them, or did you go out and buy them and you had them in a chicken coop, or?
No, I had a coop like a chicken coop, you know, and they made it and had squabs and I'd band them.
What's a squab?
A squab is a baby pigeon. It's also called a quail at hotels. You don't get quail meat, you get squab meat. So that was a very dear time in my life. I loved those pigeons, and I used to want to fly. But Aunt Kate would sit at that back kitchen window, and I often saw all the damn pigeons were up there with her. What she was doing was feeding the damn pigeons out the window, and they would sit on her hand and everything else. They wouldn't come near me, but she had them tamed. Yeah.